Tell you what. This will be a couple of days' work, and your end is going to be 10 grand.
About your beginnings, how you became one of the faces of Soho before you opened up your shops.
Well, the thing was, I was always interested in tailoring from a very young age, so it's not something I just sort of jumped on and I want to be a tailor just like that. It's something that grew organically, and what was good about it was that really it started with me going to tailors from a very young age and experimenting with design and style. And really that's what I ultimately followed through with when I got my first shop, which was in 1985 in Soho. It was on Archer Street. But Soho always felt like the right place for me to have the shop, because it's just, perfect place for an individual person like myself to express creatively what I do,
Mr. Mark Powell, you've been described over the years as the suit maker of the New Mod Revolution, the creator of Gangster Chic, and one of the faces of Soho. How does it feel to be bestowed these titles?
Well, the thing is, I think it's nice, but I think it's very important that things change. And I think there's always been that thing in men's fashion, or in fashion generally, where people, they like to try and pigeonhole you in one particular thing. The great thing with me, like you've just said there, there's 3 or 4 different phases of what I've been associated with. So, it's, of course it's good, but what I'm pleased about is things keep changing.
Who were your influences when you were first developing your signature styles, the styles that you've come to be known for? Because you're quite unique in the stuff that you do, but again, it's timeless almost. Like as we looked around the shop, there's certain items that you've said that you've made 30 years ago that still could be relevant now. So who were your influences in developing that style?
I think the important thing with what I've always done, I've always drawn on nostalgia, but I think the important thing is that you know how to draw on the 30s or 40s or 50s or even 20th century tailoring styles and know how to make them look contemporary. And it's quite interesting now with men's fashion particularly. A lot of them are now doing waistcoats. I've always done waistcoats. A lot of them are now doing watch chains. A lot of the styling and the finer points that I've always done are actually become very much part of the current look. The trouble is, a lot of people don't really understand on how to draw on nostalgic looks and create their own fusion of style, which is what I basically do, and that's why nothing really dates. It still looks current and contemporary.
Coming from the East End of London in the 1970s, was it easy getting into the fashion and tailoring industry?
I think certain things were easier then. I think it was certainly easier to start a business in the 80s when I started my business. But growing up in the 70s, I think, the first thing, for example, I did when I left school was I was a hairdresser in the West End.
You were?
I worked as a hairdresser, but the way I saw hairdressing was a way of getting into fashion. Because I didn't really know at that point I was going to go into fashion. I didn't go to college, I didn't study fashion as a designer at college or anything. So I think it was in some ways, it was just, you could follow your instincts and try to get into things, and I just by chance slowly got into working in men's retail, but very high end, in and around the West End, and that's why I learnt a lot about the craft of tailoring and measuring and fitting suits and stuff.
As you've said, even though you've done work with the likes of Marks and Spencer's and Mulberry, do you think remaining in Soho is important for your brand?
I think it's vital, to be honest. I think it's really, really important to stay in this area because I've got such a strong individual identity, which really Soho's always been a place associated with creative mavericks or people that are very individual in self-expression in an art form or whatever. So, I love the place. Obviously, it's lost a lot of its edginess in recent times, but the great thing is, it's still one of the few places you are in the centre of the West End. It's still got a great energy around here, and I live here as well, so it's sort of in my blood, really, So, not only for the sentimental reasons, I actually do think it's an important place to be to express individual style and individuality.
what is the best advice you got from your mentors in the past that you could give to upcoming tailors and stylists?
I never really had any mentors, to be perfectly honest. I always very much believed in my own thing. But the thing is, on the flip side of that story now, which is quite unique, I actually, every week I would do at least 3 or 4 chats with young up and coming tailoring students at London College of Fashion or Central St Martin's. And they're actually from unis or colleges all over the country, often come in for chats for inspiration. In fact, I did a post on Facebook this week only saying that, you know, it's nice to know that in the modern world, a lot of the kids that could easily be sold on the powerful marketing forces of where are obvious to go with tailoring, they choose me as a mentor. And I think a lot of that is because I relate far more to what a lot of the modern tailoring kids are trying to do, which is draw on using tailoring as a form of creative expression with style. Just like to thank Inkline Style for a very enjoyable interview. Thank God it's over. I can now meet your daughter. See you later on.